Waking up from underneath, fractured moonlight on the sea. Reflections still look the same to me as before I went under. And it's peaceful in the deep cathedral where you cannot breathe. No need to pray, no need to speak.
Hi Jazz, my name is Kristen. I'm a big fan of yours on Facebook. I actually stumbled first across you on YouTube in one of your videos where you were swimming in the pool with your, I believe it was the butterfly tail. And I did a little more research about you and about your foundation, and I won't bore our watchers with what I discovered and what realizations I came to, but I'm the one who sent you that gushing email that kind of made me sound like a stalker, crazy woman. But anyway, when you announced this competition, I was actually torn about entering or not. I knew I wanted a tail from Purple Rainbow Tails, and I did promise you that I would purchase one from you. But I'm usually not the most outgoing of mermaids. This is not easy for me right now. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I'm a very different mermaid when I'm in my street clothes or when I'm out in my tail. I tend to break out of my shell a little bit more, and I'm a little more outgoing when I'm out as an actual mermaid. Currently, I make fabric tails. I've made tails for myself, my sister, my cousin, and I love taking them with me to various beaches here in Southern California. I've actually even taken mine to Arizona. My family kind of teases me because once that tail's on and I'm interacting with people, it's like I'm a different person. I become this bubbly, talkative, best friend to everybody. I become a cartoon of myself, almost. I think one of my best memories is when I took my tail to the Colorado River in Arizona. I was interacting with a bunch of little kids that had come up running because they saw me swimming around my tail thinking it was the coolest thing ever. I actually took a page out of Rena the Halifax Mermaid's playbook, and they're very curious. They like touching. So whenever you catch them like reaching out and barely touching, you giggle. Oh, it was so much fun. I giggled like really loud. They would look at you with these big eyes like, oh my gosh, a mermaid's ticklish. And I got a big kick out of that. It was a lot of fun. When it came back to head to the hotel, the kids were still out, and obviously you can't just pull off your tail without ruining everything you just did. And make matters worse, this mother from a different group that didn't even come over came over, and she's like, my daughter believes she's a mermaid. Do not let her take it off. So we're like, okay, what do we do now? Well, my family fixed the problem. Yeah, my face was probably as red as my fluke when they took that picture. Well, anyway, going back to the competition, the reason I decided to enter in your competition is actually threefold. First is pure selfish reasons. Who doesn't want a mermaid tail, especially one that's that beautiful? But then again, what mermaid isn't selfish? My second reason is being in tail brings joy not only to me, but to everyone I interact with usually. When I was in high school, I really, really wanted to work at Disneyland and be best friends with some of the characters, but it wasn't in the cards. However, I think I've learned a lot just being out mermaiding. It's very similar, where you're portraying not yourself, almost. It's somebody else, and you get to be as somebody else, and you make somebody's day. That was the one thing that I loved about Disney and still love about Disneyland. The cast members usually go out of their way to make your day as good, as wonderful as possible. And I think that with this tail, I can do that for little kids that I meet randomly, even adults that I meet randomly on the beach. Just that reassurance that yes, your dreams can come true too. Look, you just met a mermaid. And lastly, I know that with a Purple Rainbow tail in hand, I can become an ambassador not only for the ocean, but for your foundation as well. Usually when a adults come up, they first thing out of their mouth, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing, where did you get that?" Well, I have a chance to spread your message along with conservation of the ocean now. And I think that would really benefit you. As for my idea behind the tail, I have a story for that. I have a story for everything, but I'm actually part of the California Pod of Mermaids, and we recently had a group trip to the aquarium in the Pacific. Well, I took one of my friends along with me because I didn't really know anybody, and I figured the more the merrier. Well, we had a blast looking at the various different exhibits and different tanks full of fish that were so colorful and so lively. Well, we came across this particular tank with this particular fish. It was yellow and blue, and it did not like me trying to take its picture. Every time I would pull my camera up, it would swim off. So I would get a partial, I would get a blurry shot, I would get just not a good photo. Well, it was a big tank, so there was a lot to look at. We spent probably half an hour between trying to get its picture and just looking at all the other really colorful fish within the tank. And I noticed when we stopped really paying attention to it, it got interested in this one person who was standing just off the side of the tank and swam over, and the blue stripes on the fish started glowing. Yeah, it was really weird. It turned from like just blue, well not teal, but blue to like neon blue. It was the coolest thing ever. So of course I pull my camera up to take a picture and it sees me and swims off. Anyway, I was determined in that moment to make a tail for that particular fish. I did manage to get a semi-decent picture. And I was able to Photoshop it over one of your templates. I actually did like the saber-tooth template the most. When I was looking at it initially, even before this competition, I fell in love with that design. It's simplistic, but it's beautiful. And so I took the picture of this fish, one of the decent pictures of this fish, and I was able to Photoshop it over the template that you provided on your website. And sadly, the yellow on the fish, because it was yellow, bright yellow and blue, the yellow looks green, but trust me, it's supposed to be like almost like a mustardy yellow, not quite lemon, a little bit darker. And the blue stripes are supposed to be super, super, super bright, like as if it were glowing. As for the fluke, I'd love the yellow to carry down like the little spines, and the blue to be a slightly darker shade. I did add side fins. I simply took the fluke design, shrank it down a little bit, and edited it so it fit a little bit better along the hip line. I know the template really doesn't show, but I would prefer to have even smaller fins in a similar shape to the hip fins attached to the heel, or just like about ankle height. That way it'll help hide a heel bulge as I'm swimming or as I'm interacting with people. It's not quite as noticeable. That's actually one of my pet peeves about tails, that you can still tell I'm a human. I know I am one of many, many other very wonderful entries, and all of them deserve praise for being bold enough to actually create a video and put themselves out there. And I can only count myself very fortunate enough to be one of those entries. Thank you very, very much, Jazz, for looking over my submission, and I wish the best of luck to everybody and all the mermaids that entered. Thank you again, and congratulations in advance for reaching 2,000 likes. Thank you so much.